folks. The Tommy Maroon Sports Show right here on WCTV. Like how he did that? Anyways, enough on that. We got to talk about two things that are near and dear to us all. First the Cavs, then the Guardians. How about that? Gonna be pretty darn cool, isn't it, folks? When the Cavs have been struggling, we will talk about games 3, 4, and 5.
So we welcome you to downtown.
Games 3 and 4 were not very good. Game 5, however, was not looking good either, but we'll get to that in a bit. Game 3 was just straight up bad in the fourth quarter, where the Cavs lost 126-104. Oh boy. Getting outscored 43-23 in the fourth quarter. That's not ideal. But anyways, James Harden had 18 points and 8 turnovers. That's a lot of turnovers, I'll tell you that. Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, and Max Strus each had 15 points apiece. Scotty Barnes and R.J. Barrett, 33 points apiece. What else out there? We had Colin Murray or Boyles with 22 points for those Toronto Raptors, who were up by 2 after the third, as mentioned, and they had 7 fewer rebounds than the good old Cavaliers, but still got the job done nonetheless. And then the fourth game, which was last Sunday, watching at my grandparents' house, it was not very fun because the Cavs lost by 4, 93-89. Same score as Game 7 of the NBA Finals 10 years ago. Remember when the Cavs won? That was pretty epic. This game was not very epic, however. Donovan Mitchell, 20 points. Jared Allen, 15 rebounds. 3 points, but still 15 rebounds is quite a lot. James Harden, 19. Brandon Ingram and Sky Barnes had 23 points apiece. R.J. Barrett had 18 points. Neither team was won by double digits during the game, and the Cavs had 6 more turnovers than the Toronto Raptors. Let's look at this game that you're looking at right now. Cavs against the Raptors again, as you might expect. It is Game 5, and the Cavaliers won it. Don't worry. It was a 125-120 victory. Woo-wee! Did they need that? Evan Mobley, James Harden each had 23 points and 9 rebounds. Not bad, not bad. And Donovan Mitchell had a good buzzer-beating 3 at the end of the first quarter. Let me tell you that. That was pretty impressive. He had 19 points. So did Schrader. So there is that. Not bad, my friends. Not bad. What else is out there? We also saw R.J. Barrett with 25 points, 12 rebounds. Jacoby Walker, 20 points for the Raptors. What else? Each team, 8 steals, 8 blocks, 14 turnovers. Both teams have been very alike, in my opinion. That's just what I've seen. But we have got to talk about the NBA playoffs. Right now, it looks pretty even through everything. That's the 3 I was talking about earlier when Donovan Mitchell drilled that baby from way back. Turned out to be a difference maker, folks. I know. But anyways, the Thunder won in 4 over the Suns. The Spurs beat the Trailblazers in 5. And meanwhile, that's it. That's the only things that have moved on to the conference semifinals. As the Spurs will await Denver, Minnesota, and Oklahoma City will await Los Angeles Lakers or the Houston Rockets. Los Angeles was up 3-0. They've dropped the last 2 games, but they're still in the driver's seat. Speaking of being in the driver's seat, the Cavs are. They're up 3-2 over Toronto. Orlando's up 3-2 over top seed Detroit. My heavens. And then Boston up 3-2 over the 76ers. And the Knicks up 3-2 over the Atlanta Hawks. So it looks like the top seeds will be moving on in everything minus, of course, the number 1, number 8 seed, as Detroit stayed alive last night with a big and crucial win. But they're going back to Orlando tomorrow night as a chore, let me tell you that. Also, I'd just like to say that the Raptors have never won a playoff game in Cleveland in their franchise history. Hard to believe, I know. But that's just how it is. And as you see right there, the Cavs took a timeout because he stepped out of bounds. The Raptors guy, don't know why the timeout was used, but hey, a win's a win. Boy, oh boy, did they need that after 2 disastrous games against the Toronto Raptors. Anyways, we got to talk about the Cleveland Guardians now. Yeah, Cleveland Guardians, they're doing all right. I mean, as always, starting off a little okay, but they'll pick it up eventually. I'm not afraid. Not afraid whatsoever. Team batting leaders, you got guys like Chase DeWater who lead them with an 830 OPS and 18 RBIs, and Jose Ramirez leading the team with 6 home runs, 19 runs, and 12 swipes. He's leading the junior circuit, I believe, in stolen bases. And then you have Brian Rocchio lead the Guardians in average with 283 and hits with 28. Rocchio, I believe, a switch hitter, just like Jose Ramirez. Not bad. Not bad. What was bad, however, I ought to say, was the Guardians against the Blue Jays. First game wound up going well. Daniel Schneemann homered and Angel Martinez 2 home runs, and both against Max Scherzer, a future Hall of Famer, and had 4 RBIs in my memory. Best suits me right. So there is that. So that went pretty good. The last 2 games, not really. Because David Fry did homer in game 2, but Kazuma Okamoto had 2 RBIs and a home run also in game 2, and the Guardians proceed to lose it 5-3. Yup, it was a very good game. In the top of the 9th, where the Guardians threatened with a double. I think it was, who was it? Manzardo, I believe. Yep, and then the last 2 guys got out, and that was the end of the ball game. It was tough. Guardians had the tying run at second and could not get him to get cashed in. Oh, that's tough. Game 3 was also tough because Angel Martinez, despite having a double in Game 3, I believe it was the only extra base hit for them all day. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had 3 hits for the Toronto Blue Jays. That ain't good. So you're looking at this series right here, my friends. Who was it against? You can see it's the Tampa Bay Rays. Yep, one of the youngest, tied with the Diamondbacks for the youngest team in baseball, even though they first played in 1998, which was nearly 30 years ago. But anyways, yeah, there hasn't been expansion in the last 30 years. Hard to believe, I know. Anyways, the Rays won the series 2-1, and the Guardians had a losing streak go down to 3-4. Daniel Schneemann homered again in Game 1, where some stupid fan ripped away the ball from another fan. However, all is forgiven from what I heard, which is always a good thing, but still he looked absolutely stupid nonetheless. I don't know why you would do that. And he got in a lot of trouble for it, as you might expect. And what else? Steven Matz calmed down after that 2-run shot. He had 7 innings and 2 strikeouts in Game 1. Jonathan Aranda with the only RBI for the Tampa Bay Rays, and every team really in Game 2. He had the only RBI, and the Rays won 1-0. As Nick Martinez won 7 shutout for them. In this game you're looking at right here, the good old Guardians finally got off that schneid with a 3-1 win. Chase DeWater, 2 of those runs cashed in by him. Not to mention Brian Rocchio with a 3-hit thing. Gavin Williams was doing his thing like always. 7 2/3. Innings? No, shutout innings with 7 2/3 innings. 9 strikeouts in the third game. We gotta look. We gotta look at the standings. Now, the Guardians are being outscored by 8 runs in the season thus far. The Guardians are 9-7 at home, 7-9 on the road. And they are half a game better than Detroit, who's really having issues playing outside of Comerica Park. 10-2 at home, 5-14 on the road. That is bad. That's actually really bad. Tigers yet to play a team above 500. The Guardians have played 7 games against teams above 500. They are 3-4. And despite the 16-16 record, it is still half a game better than the Tigers, who have been expected to win the division this year, even though I think it's going to be a tough battle between the Guardians and Tigers. And of course, the Guardians did win the division last 2 years, coming back from 15.5 back against the Tigers last year. But as we all know, the Tigers unfortunately had the last laugh when they beat the good old Guardians in a 3-game set. All at Progressive Field, too, in the wild card series. So basically, I know a lot of Guardians fans on Twitter were like, oh yeah, we won, we did it. But really, it feels like it was all for nothing when they blew it in the playoffs. But hopefully they don't blow in the playoffs this year, because this weekend the Guardians are going up against another team above 500 in the Oakland Athletics. I'm sorry, that will always irk me. I mean, say what you want about Cleveland changing their name, but at least they're still Cleveland. I can still get down with that. I don't care. Just give me a World Series. Oakland Athletics, they're no longer the Oakland Athletics because, I don't know. John Fisher told everyone, you know what, get out of here. I'm getting out of here. And thus, the Oakland Athletics are no more. They're simply the Athletics. They play in Sacramento. It's the dumbest thing ever. If you don't have a team name or city name rather, what are you doing playing the game? Oh, well. And you watch, once they get that stadium in Vegas, the soon-to-be Las Vegas Athletics are going to be the top team in the American League West. They're going to give Seattle a run for their money, aren't they? I tell you, that's probably what's going to happen because, I don't know. That's just what happens when you leave a city. You tank to leave, and then you get back up to win. It's frustrating, I know. Oh, well, good thing I'm not an owner. Good thing I'm not an owner. I would be very unhappy. But anyways, well, you know what does make me happy? How many days until August 21st? That makes me very happy, actually, because that's when high school football returns. 113 days. Oh, my goodness. 113 days till high school football is back. And it's going to be good. It's going to be really good, let me tell you. Highland's playing Walsh. I might get dressed up in a button-down shirt and a tie for that game because, I don't know. Kind of a big deal. Now, I heard that Highland's got Roosevelt today in baseball. That game will be played at Roosevelt. I believe they're going to finish the game that was tied after, after 7 full innings. I think it was 6-6 instead of 7-7. But still, they're going to finish that game because it's a conference game. And then they're going to play Highland-Roosevelt at Roosevelt. Of course, they're not going to go from Highland to Roosevelt. They're going to play the end of the first game at Roosevelt and then pick up right where they left off. Today on WHBW, which is my YouTube channel. Yeah, did you know I have a YouTube channel? I've said like hundreds of times on this TV station, good old WCTV. But yeah, I'm at 950 subscribers right here. Holy cow, how about that? 953 subscribers, which is absolutely insane in my opinion, just looking at it. Just looking at it is pretty insane. But anyways, today I will be today I'll be doing play-by-play for Highland softball against North Royalton at the AstroTurf field known as North Royalton High School. And they got turf at North Royalton for their baseball and softball fields. How nice. Yeah, that's going to be a good game. I hope we win. I mean, nothing's come easy this year for us in softball, but hey, still got some time to make things up. Still got some time to get Cinderella run up and going. So you never know what can happen, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. What I do know is that my name is Tommy Maroon, telling you to subscribe to WHBW on YouTube because I'm going to be not just doing the softball game today, but I will also be on campus Saturday for a big game between the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets and Ohio Northern Polar Bears. Won't be commentating it, but I will, however, be doing pregame, postgame interviews. It should be a good game. Oh boy, men's lacrosse finals. It's going to be scary, but do we have what it takes to win it? I hope so. And what I do hope is that you stay tuned on WCTV. There's a lot of fun coming your way with the next programming coming up, so stay tuned. Goodbye, everyone.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.